Is that how many of you have lost a customer because, and this is again for the consulting world, lost a customer because you sent a bad candidate? So it's very common. You do a guesswork. You think that okay, you're gonna throw a shit and stick on the wall, right? And your recruiters don't know, whether that candidate is good or not. Even if you have checked whether the candidate is legit candidate, what's the depth of the knowledge that candidate has, right? I mean, that is something. Why all these big implementation partners are doing so well? One of the big reason for them is that when I work with implementation partners, right? Their processes, they're so rigorous when they send a candidate to a customer. The customer says, "You have done all the work, just bring him in." Like Tech Mahindra, for example, I'm just giving in the sense that, let's say they want to hire 2 DevOps guys, right? They will go through the complete round. They have all the nuts and bolts and the technical expertise, right, to do the whole tech check. And finally, when they will present, customer will say, "Boss, tumne kar liya sab kuch. I mean, you don't need. I mean, there's nothing much you need from us." Why can't we do the same thing? That's where we are failing. We are failing because we are doing a lot of guesswork. We don't have that kind of luxury to hire techies to do the screening, right? We don't have that horsepower. Basically, yes, our recruiters can find the best candidate possible, but they are not capable to actually tech check. So you are you are in an industry which is very I would say very peculiar, that you need to find the best resource possible, and you yourself don't know the technology. You know the jargons, you know the keywords, you know all these things, but you don't know the technology. Period. I mean, maybe some of you might be knowing, but your recruiters don't, right? Your recruiters are doing all these guesswork. So what is required? What is required is to sharpen your skill. What is required is, when you send a candidate, you should be 100% clear that this guy is good to go, right? Especially with the customers where you have like a very strong bonding, where the manager is counting on you to find a resource and put in his project, right? He was saving his time. So what are you gonna do? You need to basically, a couple of options here, right? One is, you can basically maybe kiss somebody's ass saying that, "Hey, can you tech check this candidate and I'll pay you this amount of money," right? Or like in the sense that maybe, if you have so much money, maybe you'll hire a techie guy, right? But that's very expensive. So seeing all these problems, right, we actually have built a product. We built a product called Skill Exam, which really assesses a candidate in 2 degrees, not just basically the whether the candidate is good. Second is it impersonate the actual interview, right? So when you do the interview, it is not like a multiple choice question. Basically, an interviewer is going to ask. Interviewer is going to ask the reasoning question, right? Any interview, right? In the sense that. So that's what we have tried to imitate. We have tried to build basically a system where you can mix multiple, you can basically manipulate the exact same scenario of the requirement. So for example, let's say the requirement comes as Java and a SQL and PHP and so we can combine all these technologies, okay, and build the test. We did that. It was great. Everything was, we thought that, okay, everybody will start using it. What we found out is that there is so much inertia. There is so much laziness. The recruiters don't want to get into that. They don't want to do it by themselves. They don't understand these jargons. Even though we have built the whole NLP and AI and all those kind of things, right? Recruiters don't want to do it, right? So we said, okay, fine. Why don't we do that? Why don't we basically go with the same approach as what TurboTax is doing? TurboTax has built the best software, right? Still, people go to CPS, right? So TurboTax says, Why don't, an H&R Block is, doing the, why don't we go with interview as a service? We will go ahead and take all these responsibility, all these basically the headache of doing the full interview with the candidate. So we went ahead and built something called interview as a service, where you just give us a candidate and you give us the job description and that's it, you relax. We will take care of scheduling with the candidate, we will do the Zoom recording, we will do the tech check, and we will do everything and give you the final report. It's like you give us the candidate which you think that, okay, this candidate is good, is legit, he is on LinkedIn and he's all those things. We will tell you exactly what that candidate is. Okay, so a lot of companies are liking this this approach, and we think this can be a game changer for all the small businesses who do not have the horsepower to hire techies and do the tech check. Okay, I can show some the actual recording of the of the test that we have done. So basically, and it has worked out so well for us. I mean, so before even we launched out this, we tried it on our own, and with us, to be very honest with you, the scenario is that customer comes to us. We don't go to customer. Customer comes to us saying that, hey, we want this. We know you guys do everything. At this point of time, HCL, TechM, UST, we work with every damn implementation partner. They all want to work with us. The reason is what we are able to provide is no other vendor is able to provide. We give to our implementation partner or to our customer a fully tech-checked candidate who's not only looking legit on the web but actually knows the stuff. So I'll show you actually a video so you guys can get an idea.
Actually, I can vouch for Anjul.
Yeah,
I use the service, it's very good. But Anjul, you haven't cashed my check.
That's okay, Rao Garu. I mean,
wrong name, you should give a mine.
so here is what I will. Rest of the things, rest of the jargon, you guys can get it from the web. I'm not gonna bother. But here is a real-time test result where this is one of our customer. Basically, they buy the package and all that, right? So here is what is done by one of our techie, basically, right? As discussion, they have taken the test, they have basically done that, and there is a full recorded session of the video as well as the PDF of the test that is done. So you get to see the full recorded version. You can take a sip of coffee and you just give us the resume, and give us the requirement. We will do all the things basically, and finally you take a cup of coffee and watch the video. Make sure that the candidate is what it is. Send it to the customer and get the PO.
What is the turnaround time like? Once I get the
So you send the candidate. We do the scheduling with the candidate also. So we will do the scheduling. We will do all the things, basically the whole 9 yards. Sometimes it does take, but we generally try to finish it between 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, because typically in consulting, the requirements are very hot, right?
Right.
A lot of people vouching for one position. So timing is very important.
Timing is important, but quality is the most important, right? If you send a right candidate after 48 hours, you will get the closure, right? Instead of in the sense that, and you want to build that relationship with the customer that, boss, I'll send you one, and you just take it. Some of my customer, to be honest with you, I mean, we send it and they say, okay, boss, let the guy come in. You guys have already done all the work, So we, like those who started, using our service, they keep on buying the package, and basically, that's the case. You can do DIY as well, but what we have seen is the interview as a service is really, I mean, and here you pay like $60, right? And you get the tech check guy for which you're gonna get a PO of $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever, right? I mean, so it's a no-brainer for most of them, and there are quite a few companies who have started using it, and then we want to basically excel at this, because this is something which is very well missing in the small to medium sized consulting business, because we don't have that kind of horsepower to do the tech check. So if you guys want, I can just show a quick video.
So this runs across every skill, Anjul?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I would say quite a few different technology. You give us, if you don't have it, we will. So this is the guy. Sorry, I could not. It's a long video. It's a long video. I will try to fast forward, but at least you guys can get an idea.
Is the interviewer or interviewee?
So
This is
Yogesh, just if you can start by giving brief introduction.
This is all
about
happening from
yourself
India,
and your
guys,
previous,
so,
work experiences, that will be great.
Yeah, sure. See, currently I'm working as a Python lead, right, in Europe. Python technical lead, specifically. I have a total 17 years.
So we are watching every damn move of the candidate, making sure. So there is a coordinator and there is an interviewer, making sure that no proxy is happening, none of these is happening, basically.
Visual Basic, Reflection, PLN, SQL, RPG, CL, then gradually.
So this is 1 hour long, guys. I mean, I don't want to go. Maybe I'll show somewhere in the middle, where the actual test is happening. So here is the test execution, right? So how do you reformat system in MySQL? Explain various formats. The guy has to write the answer. This is pretty intense. This is not like a multiple choice and all kinds of guessing work. If the guy really knows, guy will be able to answer. So they're like a real solid thing that we have built, and no bullshit here. Basically, that guy knows, and we do it so thoroughly, much more than what an interviewer can do, with the full recording, and then you send it to the customer. Done, right? Customer looks at this. Customer says, "Ki boss, tune to sab kuch." I mean, you guys have done everything. Why do I do? And I have instances like that where customer says that I don't think we need to do anything further. Just bring the guy in. So that's what we have tried to build, and we kept the pricing pretty cheap. I mean, idea is to have something better than what we are doing with our customers. Just giving them in a guesswork based candidate. You actually do the whole tech check and give the candidate. You feel good, you feel confident, you feel that you have done something better to your customer, that your customer cannot do it by themselves.
So two questions. One is this one says an hour and 15 minutes, right? So the interview lasts as long as the interviewer believes it should. I mean, asking whatever question. Okay, so that is number one. Number two is, do you deduce and do you also recommend, or do you give a scale or rating or something like that?
Absolutely. So if you look at the let's go back to the here. So if you look at the summary, right, and which I showed you at the beginning, that's the essence which which we give. So this is the summary that is given by our interviewer. This is not the summary, so he said, I would like to add to point that he knows Python development, blah blah blah, cognitive intelligence, blah, all these things. This is what we're giving as an essence of the interview. So it's your choice whether you want to watch the whole video, or you want to, if you believe in us, basically you can look at the summary, and it is based on what you give us. You say, okay, these are the 5 technologies I want to screen on, right? We will give you those 5 technologies. Neither HackerRank, and nobody can do this. At this point of time, the amount of repository that we have built, we have got like close to 30,000 questions. We have been building this for last, many years. And if we don't have the technology, we will build that. So you give us the requirement, we will, you basically give us the candidate and requirement and we'll take over everything. You just relax. Basically, you manage your customer, and make sure your customer gets the right result.
So instead of watching the whole hour and 15 minutes, do you also give just the coding piece separately?
You can fast forward. We give the summary and we give the whole video.
Okay. Because a lot of clients just want to see if the code is structured, that's it. Then
You can edit that video, Sonali, and cut and
Exactly.
pick up the piece of video that you want and
Right.
Because this is so good. Instead of just giving a coding test and there is a personal touch, because a lot of times what happens is when you send out a test to the candidate and they are like, oh, how long will it take and all. But here somebody is there, so it makes it even more legit to the candidate.
Absolutely, Sonali, you hit the nail on the head.
I'm a recruiter, remember?
Yes. So HackerRank, right? Many of you may have used HackerRank. HackerRank is a failed solution because HackerRank, you send the test, you don't know who's taking that test. Most of the people don't take the test, basically.
No,
And you are
people
just
don't
No,
say, forget about
HackerRank
who
takes a
took it.
picture.
I mean,
It does takes the picture, but
every few minutes it's taking a picture.
right,
So
right.
that part
But
is-
whether
people-
the candidate will take the test, see, that's the
Forcing
thing.
them to take the test is a big
That's a big
problem.
challenge. Whatever
the
test you have
candidate
created.
accepts to take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plus
No,
the
but here
So there is a
somebody
70%
so it
dropout
matters.
rate.
right. Dropout rate is so high. We have used it by ourselves. Dropout rate is so high. People, you have to keep chasing. Here, you bring the candidate. There is a
There's an
coordinator.
individual.
So here we are doing all the heavy lifting, basically.
So do you do the interviewer, right? Whoever is interviewing, who checks their qualification, right? That is key.
Of course,
Because
we
if I have a
hire.
requirement which has got diverse
Right.
technology.
So
will it be
because
one person
because
or
we have
multiple
got that repository, we have built that repository, right? A lot of time the interviewer will will create the test and ask the candidate to execute that test, right? So it's happening in real time. We're sending the test in real time when the candidate has come on Zoom. We don't send it upfront. That's another difference between us and HackerRank. And then candidate will come. Candidate is completely not aware of what he is gonna get into, right? I mean that's the it's pretty much right.
That's the challenge we've faced too, right? You send HackerRank to somebody they don't want to take.
Yeah.
They want to spend 1 hour. I don't know how do they agree for 1 hour.
No, people don't open it.
Yeah.
I would say if I want to, a lot of times I take the interview. When your interviewer does it, does he do it like a white label? There's nothing coming, at that moment, does he represent us as a company when he's doing the interview, or how does that work?
So this is a separate BU altogether, right? And it has nothing to do with So yes, the interviewer will represent basically your company, absolutely.
And then the second thing is the gentleman who's doing the interview. I'm assuming from wherever, is he picked based on the requirement? Like, I mean, I'm assuming this lends itself more for technical positions, right?
Yes.
Not for functional. So, 10 minutes into an interview, you figure out this guy is useless. Does he cut short the interview and say no point doing the rest of it?
Right. So the good thing is that if it was a complete manual interview where the interviewer is asking question based on his own knowledge, yes, then that situation comes into. But here we have the tool. The tool defines the technology that the interviewee has to go through. So no matter who's basically interviewing, technically the tool is actually validating. So that's our IP. That is our IP. That 30,000 plus questions bank that we have built, with various technology and combining that with a
This question bank is an MCQ mostly? 30,000?
No, it's all actually theoretical questions.
Well,
So that's the hard part that we have.
And do you do like that initial thing which says that, hey, do I have permission from you to record you?
Absolutely.
So it's
All
all good at
all
that.
that, all that permission based basically.
This is brilliant actually.
Yeah.
How does it work? Like if I have to give a feedback of the interview, right? I get the recording. I feel some of the questions are not very relevant, but he's given that he's a 5-star performer. How do you? Is there
Very
feedback?
good question. So we have a AI and NLP based test result basically. So that's the other part which I think probably I did not show you guys. So after the test is done, like basically we actually did another hard, I mean now Chat GPT and all have come, but we have been doing this for quite some time. So here, there is a PDF of the whole report where the question is there and the answer is there, and you can see it's all clear text answer, right? These answers are actually written answer, and we actually weight each question's point basically, right? So it's a NLP that we have built. I mean, of course, it's not exact, but at least it will do the matching, it will do the comparison, and it will give a weighted average, and finally a weighted score comes basically. So we have done like a mini Chat GPT from a very long time. It's all NLP. Now we are thinking of so we will do that. But yes, so because our vocabulary is limited, it's only based on the tech thing. It's much easier. But yes, so to answer your question, this is the report that you get apart from the video. So it's not just the video. You're getting the report, you're getting the video, you're getting the whole thing. As I said, like you give us the candidate, you give us the requirement, and you relax. We will take care of everything. So that's what it is.
And what if we get the interview scheduled when we send it to you, or we share your availability? Does it then depend on your team, someone to have availability at that time?
Right, absolutely. So what we prefer is that you give us, we will coordinate, because that's easier, because the coordinator has to make sure interviewer is available and the candidate is available.
But my only problem is, logistics standpoint. The candidate sees an email coming from private.
Right.
Now, when the coordination happens, the interview is being done from your BU.
Right, from skill exam. Yeah, so it is nowhere.
So it looks like.
It is
We
something.
basically tell them, hey, this is the company we use to do our
So it's like now when we send a hacker rank thing, we send a
It's like skill.
Or the background check, right? You do
It's a threat.
Right, exactly.
How do we engage you? How do we work?
Oh, okay, good question. So you can buy the packages here. Go to skillexam.com. And yeah, so here there is how it works. Basically, it's all there, and there is a service called interview as a
Your
service.
picture on the website.
Huh? So I'll come to the commercials. And, here you have interview as a service. You can buy a package. And so it's simple. It's a step 1, step 2, and step 3. Client sends you the this thing. Step 2, we do everything, and we give you the result basically. So these are the packages we have got. So you can take 100 pack. And then there is 60 minutes, and there is 30 minutes, and there's 60 minutes. So I mean most of the time I would suggest basically going with 10 pack, and 10 pack is like 10 POs, so it's no brainer. I mean the cost wise, so you can just buy it here and that's it. We will take care of everything, and then you can keep consuming. And I've got some die-hard customers who have started using it. They just keep going. So wherever you have a very strong bonding with your customer, right, where your manager is waiting for a right candidate, you say that, hey, I'm giving you the candidate, and I've also done the tech check. So it definitely adds value, and it's all done manually. I mean, pretty much by our backend.
So at times you might have to evaluate 3 or 4 candidates to come up with the one, who's the right one.
Right. So we'll give you the report. We'll give you the report on each one of them.
But you're not grading. To your original problem, which is our general problem is, if I have 4 people, I need to know who's really good among the 4.
Right.
If your first thing was like, hey, assuming we don't know that, your report really needs to grade them somehow, right? That's
So
what
there
I'm
is
saying.
there is a weighted score for.
There is a weighted
Yes.
score.
So you can see the weighted score, you can see the video, and you can make a decision. Right. Some portion you have to because finally you are But yes, we give the full report of the test, and you go by the highest weighted score. I mean, if that's what you want.
So you also do it for like project managers, higher management?
Everything. Yeah.
Everything?
Everything. You got project manager, you got all kinds of technologies. You got like close to 600 different IT topics.
So up to what level of positions that you?
I would say mid level. I mean, mid level. I would not say high end guys. You want to, I mean that's true. Mid level is where I would say is we can do well, and that's good enough, right? I mean, high end guys are high end.
A lot of high-end guys would refuse to take.
And you don't want to.
Yeah.
They will get upset. I mean,
For all the different job profiles like project manager, how do you figure out what questions to ask?
So we have built that repository.
That's something that's been done.
Yes.
Is that you?
That's why it's a clear text-based answer. It's not a multiple choice. Yes, it would have failed in the multiple choice scenario for project managers and things of that nature. We've got some leadership tests, leadership skills, and all those other things. So
So
that
what if you just want to interview yourself and use your skill, the test platform? Is that also possible?
Absolutely. So that's a very, very good question, Deepak. So let's say you have to basically screen 50 people, right? And you don't have that kind of budget. What you do is you create a master test. So we in our system, you can create a test, and let's say you can just send that test to yourself and terminate the test. What it will do is it will generate a master sheet for you, which you can say that, hey, recruiter, take this, ask this to 10 other people and see what they
But it won't be live.
it won't. Yeah. No, you can actually still do. You're given the master sheet. Now this is like you're taking that and you're using it.
I mean, your recruiter could be live checking
But
it on the
but
video.
yes, if your client wants to see the whole test, I suggest doing it. Right? Internal first level filtering, maybe you can do it that way. Second level filtering, you can probably use
And
the
the
interview.
questions come with the answers also for the interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is brilliant stuff.
Yeah,
Seriously.
very good.
Kudos to you. Seriously.
A lot of it.
So yeah, and we can be kicking HCLs or Tech Mahindra's butt out here, by just implementing this, because that's what they do. They have staff, they do the tech check, they do all these things, and then only they send it to the customer. We don't do that. That's where we, and if we start doing it, I think there some
Do you have an India pack?
Who takes the interview?
somebody who is a techie.
Okay, but how much you pay them?
Well, I mean that's my employer.
Only employees, don't you want to do industry, center of excellence people who are expert in the domain, who will come in and do that? That is something.
So we want to be agnostic to that. That's the thing. That's the job platform is doing. If we do that, then there's no difference. Then the platform is obsolete, right? We want to keep the cost low. Remember, we are charging like $60. $60 for whole 1 hour, like in the sense that is a lot of work if you look at it, with including the scheduling, including reaching this thing, that thing. I mean so you have to basically make sure you get like a moderate sized techie, and we should be able to replicate it.
Okay, so you have the bars, you have the segment in which so the companies also you have a segment in which they will subscribe to your service.
Absolutely.
Not in the
All the companies, I mean, every staffing company basically is my customer who's going through this pain of figuring out whether the candidate is a good candidate or not technically.
you do verification and know anybody who is trying to.
So whatever we can do basically with the video, we do that. We have the coordinator who's watching, basically making sure that nobody's proxying and all that. So it's a real-time video that we are doing. So we do that.
Do you do background check?
It's not part of this.
It could be a feature which I'm asking, right?
Yeah.
So you have taken an interview,
Right.
email address, this one, another company asked for the, and the company that you have a fake resume. Do you also plan to share the information with the other company that this person has been already interviewed?
We generally don't do that because it's a company, it's a company specific.
Of course.
Right. We will
But you
not.
have data, right? And it
We
could
have
be-
to. As I said, it's a separate view. We don't come across into So whatever it's whatever is the data, whatever is the candidate that belongs to the customer, the report belongs to the customer. And they can utilize the way they want to.
Do you also send some information back to the candidate that you scored?
No. This is completely client
It could be,
confidential.
in future on my LinkedIn, I can say, hey, this is my skill exam.
Right. So there could be
I need the score.
Right. That could be a separate thing. They can request to the company, and but we will not share anything with the candidate.
Whatever candidate himself will get this service and say, I need to be interviewed because I need that score,
Right.
which I will sell my market myself.
Sure.
Can't you do that?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, that itself is a big market.
Absolutely. But here we are trying to solve a pain for the
You
company.
get a lot of ideas now.
Yeah.
But if this becomes so good, candidate himself will say that this is my best point.
Right.
To
No,
get the
we
credibility.
have gotten the feedback from the candidate that by going through this, I could see where I stand.
I was going to ask you a question. Do you have a package for mock interviews or anything of that sort? Let's say, for example, you are prepping 10 of your candidates
Right.
on a particular domain. Right?
Okay.
So if you have a mock interview package,
You can create you can request us to create a mock, and we can create. So you give us
that
what
is
the
basically to
requirement.
assess the candidates and then take them to the next level.
Absolutely. So as Deepak was mentioning, that what you can do is you can create a master copy, right? Circulate that. Let the first level filtering happen instead of doing the full-fledged interview as a service. Out of that, let's say 3 you shortlist and you go for the interview. That's the best way to.
I like it. It's very good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.